Depending on how that goes, I may go through it. Sleep. So. Okay.
What I do,
We'll see.
I'll plan to be here on the
Well,
19th.
If you've got stuff to do,
Mhm.
you take care of your family first. If we wind up with 3 people here, it's still. So,
Yeah.
You do not do what you need to do for your family. They come first.
Sure.
Okay?
Which knee? You left knee or right knee?
Left. Bone on bone. I've been getting shots, the steroid shots. In Norway, I twisted
Mhm.
and I thought somebody had stabbed him. And so he's back to the doctors. He says, well, that fails. I said, oh, it failed. What's the next move? We replace it. Well, I guess the good part of it is that I was talking to him the other day. It's going to do it at Dozier because of our age, we're considered a high risk category. And thank you, Helen.
Mr. Pelton, I have 2:00. Neil, are we on? Okay.
We are, because I got a
You-
text message that somebody could hear what I was talking to them
Oh.
about. So, all right. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the April 21st, 2026 regular meeting of the Brunswick County Board of Elections. We could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Everyone has a copy of the agenda. Are there any changes, of the additions, deletions? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
We have a motion, any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Fine.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. And Madam Director, we're moving on to a voter challenge.
Yes, sir. Today we do have one voter challenge that has been filed and we will, the board will conduct a preliminary hearing. A preliminary hearing is an opportunity for the board to determine whether there is probable cause and whether the challenge was properly filed. So those are the steps that the board will go through today. And I do know that Mr. Michael is here, so I will let you proceed with the preliminary hearing. And that is in tab 2. And the last 2 pages have kind of your procedure.
All right. I'm sorry, Mr. Michael. Would you come up to the podium, please? And since I am not a notary nor an attorney, Madam Director, either yourself or our county attorney, if you could perform that duty, please.
Yes, sir. If you please place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right.
Mhm.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
All right. Before us, Mr. Michael, is it Michael? Is that correct? Okay, thank you. Is the voter challenge, which carries your signature, you fill this out and sign it yourself? Excuse me? Yes, that's what I'm sorry, that's what I meant. Okay. The indication on the challenge report is the person is not a resident of the state of North Carolina, and that individual per the filing is a Charles Ellis. You as the challenger, are you a resident of Brunswick County?
Yes.
Okay. And we have the challenge form. It's completed and signed by you. So I think that's a yes on our check sheet. And there is only, per the challenge sheet, there is only one person being challenged, and that is Charles Ellis. Yes. The statutory basis for the challenge is selected on the form, which is not a resident of the state of North Carolina. That's required. And the challenge was filed by the voter registration deadline 25 days before an election. And I am seeing the date of, Madam Director.
It was February 18th, but
Okay,
we would be talking about the voter registration deadline for the general election.
okay. I was looking for a date on the form, but it, okay. Just the stamp date, okay. So it was filed 25 days before the election. We're looking at probable cause. If the above filings are met, the county board must determine whether there is probable cause that the voter is not properly registered. You'll forgive me because this is one of the processes that we do not do on a regular basis. I am going to request some guidance from our director and our attorney at this point. How deeply do we get involved in this, just to determine
it.
whether there is cause
Yes,
to
sir.
proceed?
Just,
Okay.
sir, why'd you challenge the voter?
Good.
Yeah, just,
So we'll do the whole story. Well, back in 2024, and went to early voting, and I had received this registration card to my address. And obviously was concerned because this person doesn't live at my address. I actually went to the Republican tent and told them about who do I talk to. And actually Frank Ealer was there. And I talked to him, told him the story. He then told me, he actually called Sarah and told me I needed to talk to her, which I did. And back on October 24th, 2024, I filled out a North Carolina voter registration voter statement regarding this. What happened is this person had they done a mail-in voting application, which I have a copy of, and had put down the name Charles Ellis. Well, my first name is Charles.
Mhm.
My middle name is Ellis.
Okay,
But on the registration form, they didn't put a middle name. They used my address. They used my old telephone number. They had not used my social security number or my date of birth. So I had filed this statement thinking that would be the end of it. Well, then in September of 2025, I received a letter about this request for identification information. And I got another one in January 20th, 2026. I thought this was all done. So then contacted Sarah to tell her about what was going on. And that's when we did the voter challenge form. So this Charles Ellis does not live at my address. But the bigger questions need to be asked. What reason would somebody mail in a fraudulent voter registration application? Was it to manipulate an election? And why are we allowing a voter registration card without proper verification? Of course, I had found out from the state that the state has done an investigation into this, and there are hundreds, if not more, of these fraudulent voter registration applications that were all done as mail-ins. So at this point, I'm not sure what happens next,
Okay.
but I'm hoping that something was going to be done about this, and that there would be either the person or persons that were involved either be apprehended or convicted, because obviously this was done with malice intent.
okay. Thank you. I believe the process, Mr. Folks, that we just have to determine whether or not there is probable cause to continue to a second hearing. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do we have any questions from the board?
I have a question.
Sure.
Hi, thanks a lot for this. And maybe it's just to be sure I understand it, okay?
Okay, yes,
Apparently someone has filed
a voter registration application
registration with your first
using
and second names.
my first name, my middle name,
Yeah. Mhm.
and at that point, they had my correct address,
Mhm.
and they had my old telephone number,
Have your own telephone, have your
my
telephone?
old telephone number, yes. So all this was on the application,
Uh-huh.
but the date of birth, social security number was incorrect.
Okay.
It was signed and submitted, and it was received by the North Carolina State Board of Elections on August 14th, 2024.
Okay,
And obviously, this is a fraudulent
right.
application because no such person exists at
Okay.
my address.
Can we see the fraudulent application, please?
Sarah, is the state looking into this too?
The voter did complete a form created by the State Board of Elections, so they have been notified of this situation. And it is part of their investigation.
Another question, did this Charles Ellis vote in the most recent primary?
No, sir.
Do we have any record of him voting any election?
I am 99.9% sure. I would have to look just to make sure I don't tell you wrong,
It's
but
not on
no,
his
he
voter
has not
record.
voted. No,
Not in Brunswick County.
not in Brunswick. Thank
And this is your address, you said? Oh, no, right there.
I know one of the neighbors.
Hey, thank you for bringing this to our attention. It's very interesting.
Question for the director. One of the options in the checkbox is the person is not who he or she represents themselves or herself to be. Would that be appropriate in this situation or not?
I cannot answer that. I would think several of the check boxes would probably fit.
Okay. Mr. Batten, do you have an opinion on that? Why it would not be the person is not who he or she represents themselves to be?
That's also probably a valid option.
Is it,
What you have to find today that a valid option was picked.
These two movies I got.
Okay.
That's just showing about. Charles Ellis.
Mhm.
Yeah, we sent those.
Mhm.
Things that I thought was over with, but honestly, it's not.
Okay. Here. Okay. I guess I have another question. Is the form in front of us amendable at this point or not? Or does it have to be amended by Mr. Michael? Or shouldn't? I withdraw that question. Okay, any discussion, folks?
Mr. Chairman, I personally think there is enough evidence for probable cause.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I will so move.
We have a motion to proceed with probable cause to a hearing. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. Mr. Michael, thank you very much for bringing this to our attention.
So what happens next?
We appreciate your honesty and your participation in the process.
And we will provide notice of the hearing date. So what happens now is we schedule a full hearing, and that is an opportunity where the board could request, data that I would look up or things that I would bring, like an unredacted copy of the voter registration form. So we'll send you notice of that. I would recommend to the board that you schedule that for our next regular hearing, which is May 19th,
Does this,
or
get-
regular meeting.
does this get corrected in Raleigh?
At that point, depending on what happens at the full challenge hearing, if they sustain the challenge, the board sustains the challenge, their corrective remedy could be to remove the registration.
So what happens about all the other people that's same thing going on?
I cannot answer that as I am not party to those investigations.
Mr.
Those
Michael?
are at the state level.
You're sure nobody by that name lives with you? I just want to make sure with that.
Was
I
it?
said no one by the name Charles Ellis lives with you.
No,
Thank you.
unless he's a ghost.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item on the agenda would be any public comments. Anybody in the audience that has a public comment? Not seeing any. We'll move on to approval of meeting minutes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sets of minutes to approve. We've all been supplied copies and had an opportunity to review them. The chair has nothing else to add or amend in the minutes. Any other amendments or changes?
I would like to make a motion to approve all 10.
We have a
Worth of minutes.
motion to approve all 10 minutes, 10 meeting minutes, easy for me to say, as submitted. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Madam Director, the floor is yours.
Okay, I have a few items for you today. Several of these were kind of written up in the agenda packet, but I'm still going to go through them. I do want to update the board about actions that have been taken by 2 municipalities in Brunswick County. Bolivia and Belleville have both passed resolutions in support of the General Assembly passing legislation that would move their municipal elections from odd years to even years to align with a general election. So that is permissible by law. They would need action by the General Assembly. My understanding is that both of those municipalities have been in contact with their representatives up in Raleigh. So I will keep you posted as that moves through. I do believe the short session began today. So I will keep an eye out to see if I see any legislation introduced for those two. I do want to mention that this is happening more and more across the state, where municipalities are choosing to move their municipal elections from odd years to even years. And in the documentation that was provided to me by these two municipalities, some of the things that they talked about was hoping for increased voter turnout, being in line with an even year, and also a significant cost savings, because in odd number years, municipalities pay the entire cost of the election, whereas in even years, we will already be conducting an election, so their cost will be little to nothing.
De minimis.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to update you on that. I will keep you posted as I learn more. The chair
question.
asked me, oh, yes.
Staffing wise, would there be any impact in terms of staff to do that?
No.
Okay.
No. If anything, for poll workers,
Mhm.
it might decrease what we would need in an odd year municipal election, depending on what precincts these municipalities are in and how much of a portion of those precincts they take up.
Thank you.
Another question. You have any idea of how many municipalities in the state of North Carolina go with an even year?
I have not seen a recent figure on that. I do think it's definitely upwards of 50, the last figure I saw, but I do think that's probably a little bit outdated.
Okay, thank you.
How many municipalities do we have in the state of North Carolina?
That is a wonderful question that I can get you an answer to at a later time. Yeah. Okay. The next item I want to touch on, the chair asked me to talk about this. The State Board of Elections in a board meeting last week adopted rules whereby they will share voter registration information with the federal, it's the Systematic Alien Verification for Entitlements. So the SAVE database, which I'm sure you've all heard it referred to as that. But that stands for Systematic Alien Verification for Entitlements. So voter registration data will be shared and interact with that database. And the state board will receive reports back about potential non-citizens that are registered to vote. I know only what was shared in the press release that the state board put out, so they have not provided any directive for us. I do know there were proposed rules that still need to go through the rules process with the Rules Commission, whereby if a voter is identified as being a potential non-citizen, there are steps that county boards would have to go to, ultimately ending with a voter challenge if it is determined that, all of the information we received was accurate.
Can I ask?
Go ahead.
So do you know if confidential information like Social Security, for example, will be shared?
Social Security, the last 4 digits of a Social Security number and date of birth, those are 2 of the items that will be shared.
Sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Anyone else? I'd just like to make a comment that I asked Sarah to include this in today's meeting. I have received questions from a couple of different folks relative to non-citizens being on the voter rolls in the state of North Carolina and specifically Brunswick County at various functions that I've been at. And what my objective here today was to put it on the public record that in fact, the state of North Carolina is being proactive in this situation. And that at this point, we as a county board and county staff are uninvolved in the process. So it's one of those things that there's probably whatever's available on publicity releases from the state and or appears in the media is all the information that we have. But I wanted to make sure we got that on the record.
And I will note that the online version of the agenda, if you go through our website, I do have a hyperlink to that press release if anybody wants to see it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Next up. Next up, I do want to share with the board that I have formed a sort of work group in the office. And this work group has been tasked with monitoring the growth in the county and the impact that it might have on our operations. And beyond that, I do want to ask Adrienne to step up, and she's going to just provide a brief update to the board on what that group has done thus far, what the goals are. We've had 2 meetings, so we may not have a lot of, super detailed information for you, but I do want to share that with you. So,
Got to start
Adrienne.
somewhere.
yeah,
Thank you.
Adrienne Rushton, Deputy Director.
Thank you.
I tend to talk fast, so I also wanted you guys to have what I was going to say in front of you, just in case you have any questions. The County Growth Impact Work Group was established to create an ongoing process for monitoring residential growth and evaluating its impact on precinct boundaries and polling place needs, ensuring data-driven planning for future elections. The work group includes myself, Jordan, and Butch. Since kickoff, we've confirmed our scope of work, identified key data sources, and begun analyzing voter trends by precinct, including early voting and election day patterns. We are also incorporating approved development data to better anticipate growth. Subcommittees have been identified to focus on in-person voting and precinct officials. We've started identifying high-growth areas and reviewing polling place capacity. Jordan is overseeing county and municipal development tracking, including project size and completion status. Sarah is compiling past election data for precinct level analysis. Adrienne, that's me, has begun tracking growth trends by precinct. And Butch is serving as the county liaison for the Census Redistricting Data Program 2030 in coordination with the NC Office of State Budget and Management. Based on facility size, number of registered voters, and growth over the past 2 years, the group has identified 3 priority precincts for focus review: NBO2 Leland, NBO6 Brunswick Forest, and NBO7 Belleville 1. Additionally, 3 locations have been identified as likely to be deficient for future election needs due to limitations in size, voter capacity, or facility constraints. Those include WB04 Shingle Tree 2, WB05 Shingle Tree 1, and WB06 Grissettown. Our next steps include refining subcommittee roles, continuing data analysis, coordinating with external partners, and further evaluating polling place options. The work group will provide regular progress-based updates.
Okay.
Do you guys have any questions? Oh, thank you. Thank you.
A while back, Adrian, we received a copy of a report from, I believe it was the planning board, that documented the projects that were on their radar scope. And when we added up all the numbers, it was about 45,000 living units, which is a scary number. Is that something like that? Is that something we get on a regular basis, or we could have access to from the planning folks, or something you're already working with?
So the information that you're referring to, both Jordan and I met with Garrett. He's our planning contact, but Jordan can speak more to that. She is overseeing all of the development and the status and all
Okay.
those numbers. Come on up, Jordan.
Uh-oh.
Hi, everyone. I don't have specific numbers to give you. If you would like me to provide that to you, that's certainly possible. Garrett did provide us a map that has county-wide developments with unit numbers on it, which does give us an idea of the anticipated growth with units. But he did explain that if it is a municipality, they're in charge of their development projects. So I've already been working with Leland as an example to get their plans as well. So I can get you those numbers if there's a specific area that you're looking for.
Well, what I was driving at, and you may already have this, I was wondering if we had a map of the county that overlaid these developments that we have with our current precinct boundaries.
We do,
Okay,
yes.
great. You guys are 2 steps ahead of me.
It's not a small map, just so you.
I would
it's
love
not-
to see that map.
It hanging in Jordan's
Takes up
cube.
my
You're
whole
welcome
wall.
to.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, I got time.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's our largest challenge in Brunswick County right now. I know for a fact, and I'm glad you included Grisset Town, my home precinct, that within Grisset Town, there is some level of discussion about the municipality of Ocean Isle Beach annexing some new development that may not be contiguous with what their current boundaries are, which could, give us a real challenge. In addition, there is a new Del Webb community going in, which is a couple thousand units. And I don't think there's any way that we can avoid having to try to split that precinct and get ourselves another polling place within it. Currently, the only polling place in Grisset Town is actually out of precinct. So just one more of those wonderful challenges. Anybody have any questions?
I just have disdain through this whole project process, but it's just so many people moving in.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, good job, and Butch too. Good liaisoning.
Okay, I'm going to piggyback off of that discussion with growth because I do just want to make the board aware that we are not far from needing to make decisions about early voting for the general election. Our early voting plans are due to the state on July 24th. So we have 2 regular meetings scheduled between now and then, May and June. And we do have one 3 days before the due date in July, just so you know.
Okay.
I am continuing to struggle. Staff, we are trying our best, but we are continuing to struggle finding a suitable location in the Southport, Oak Island area, and the Charlotte area. So we are going to be working hard to try to find some suitable locations, but I just encourage you, if you have any ideas about possible locations, we welcome that. I also have some concerns for this midterm general, but definitely looking ahead towards general presidential in 2028 about the capacity at the Sunset Beach location. That facility struggles when we have high turnout, and I don't know that, it's great to have a voting location in an area for the residents, but when the line is really long and people are waiting in the grass or on the side of the road, I don't know how you best weigh that. So we'll be looking for something down in that area as well. So keep it on your radar. Hopefully by the next meeting, I will be able to come with some solid recommendations of places we know we are good to use, some possibilities, things like that. So just want you all to start thinking about that.
I know that we've had several locations that we've used in the past that have been excluded because of not having one contiguous room. I have spoken to chairpersons from Wake County.
Mhm.
And in fact, we discussed that specific issue. And she tells me that in fact, they have a number of locations where there are physically two separate rooms. And their take is that if the chief judge can stand in the doorway and see both rooms, that's acceptable. Now, whether or not that flies with the state, I have no idea. But if we were able to use some of those locations where we've excluded them because there were multiple rooms, maybe we could reconsider that as a possibility. And I'm going to stop micromanaging now. So.
I don't have anything else.
Okay. Any unfinished business? Madam Director? Anything new other than what we've already discussed? Any informal discussions? At that point, I'm going to tell the board about a situation that I got a call from one of my neighbors recently who had received a voter registration form in the mail. It was addressed to current residents at his home address. And he was very afraid of it. And then he showed it to me. I took it and determined that if we go back to a note that came out of the state in June of 2022 regarding the activities of two organizations. One is the Voter Participation Center, and the second one was the Center for Voter Information, where in fact they were sending out unsolicited registration forms to folks who were already on the rolls. And in this particular case, creating a bit of consternation upon this gentleman's part. But I just wanted to share that with everybody and let you know that those things are happening. They're still floating around 4 years later.
These come up every year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and the director was very kind to be able to point me to the June 2022 letter, which she had knowledge of. Mr. Myers, anything? Mr. Iverson?
No.
One thing I did have, Sarah, on the registration statistics.
Yes.
Says verifications return undeliverable category. Is that the repairs project?
No, that would be a voter registration card that we send out to verify an address. And that is an indication of the number that are returned to us by the post office because they could not be delivered, whether there's no mail receptacle, not deliverable as addressed. I can't think of any of the other reasons, but they usually have a little yellow sticker on them. And then we take further steps to try to reach the voter. So if we receive a forwarding address, we would forward a confirmation card. If we don't, and it's a new registrant, we mail a second mailing to see if, make sure there was no mistake with the first attempted delivery. So those are voter cards that have come back.
And if you don't get a response, what happens then?
I'm sorry.
If you don't get a response, period, what happens?
So if we mail a voter registration verification card and it comes back undeliverable, and we mail a second one to a new voter and it comes back undeliverable, that voter registration becomes denied. So that person is never fully registered to vote because we were unable to verify the address. If it is an existing voter, that record becomes inactive. Yes.
I'd just like to make a comment on the voter stat sheet that we are up now to 146,000 registered voters in Brunswick County. Brunswick County recently was identified as the 6th fastest growing county in the nation. And the registrations coming in from that at somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 a month on average represent a significant work effort upon the part of the staff. And I was just curious, Madam Director, we're talking about 3,000 changes a month to the SEAM system. This seems to be a significant workload. Is that more than one person can handle, or is it handled by?
A lot of times it is. And so what we do, especially during peak season, when a lot of voters are turning in registration forms to update ahead of an election, we do bring in temporary staff to help with the data entry process.
Okay,
And also post-election, when we have a large buildup, because we have a voter registration deadline 25 days before the election, and we can't start processing until we canvass the election. So that is a whole lot of buildup in the registration queues. So we bring somebody in to assist with that process as well.
is that, in your opinion, is there a need for an additional full-time equivalent staff member?
Possibly. It could definitely help. I think we always have room for additional staff members the more we grow. Challenge is we have nowhere to put them.
I said, you.
We are outgrowing our building. So that is the challenge at this point. You know, if we bring people in, do we have suitable space for them to do the work?
No. Yep, I understand.
Mhm.
Okay. Mr. Lewis? This clarity?
No, I'm good. Thank you. for
Okay.
asking.
Anything else for the good of the cause? Hearing nothing, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So stated.
So move. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you all. We are done.